Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well today. Hope you guys are on your purpose. This is, what day do we have here? 26th. Hope I got the sun in the background. 26th of September 2022. I have a low shot on my camera here, but that's okay. Hope you guys had a nice weekend and continue to battle on. The weather is getting nice and cool, and I like this kind of weather when it comes to being vigor and energy and vim and vigor, back what John F. Kennedy used to say. So I appreciate, again, all the comments. We are getting close to 600, and I appreciate that a great deal. I feel very blessed that you guys are listening, that you guys find this interesting and find my experiences such that you guys like to listen to it, and I appreciate that. So Jimmy, Jamar Vixels, thank you so much for your comment. Nizar, I'm going to comment and talk about today your comment. There's two of them you made, but thank you so much for the first one, appreciating the content. And sure, also Abstract 101, again, thank you for your comments. And Who's Khan, I appreciate your comments, my friend. And I got a bunch of them I'm going to kind of shout out as we go along in the next couple days. Some nice comments that we've made. I try to keep track as much as I can. If I notice them, I'll mention them on the stream that we have in the discussion. So I'm going to go to a question I thought was very interesting from Nizar. And we also, by the way, I also had a lot of good comments on supplements. So I'm going to do a separate one on supplements again and talk about that one. So that one I'm going to leave to a different day. But Nizar asked me a good question here. And so let me kind of, sometimes I forget, that we have newer viewers and different people on the channel. So let me kind of go back a little bit and talk about the difference between NoFab and Monk Mode. And let's focus on that one today. All right, so please go ahead, subscribe, like, comment, donate. I appreciate everything, like I said, and I just think that you guys are phenomenal, and just continue the good work and do the things that we need to do, because I see the difference. And I know that I think it was maybe it was Spiritual Wisdom. one of our viewers mentioned something about, do I see the effects now at 61? I'll talk about that one separately too, because at 800 some days, I still see a lot of the great benefits. In fact, they haven't really decreased at all in my book. Now, maybe because I notice them more at my age than I do when I was younger, but I notice huge differences. No, the way I just noticed in my weight and things like that. So I'm going to focus on that as a separate one. But that does go into our discussion a little bit. So when we talk about this, what I mean by this, when I say 800, and now I think it's, 84 days? 684 days. I think I counted it just because I was going to do this video here. 684, which is the amount of NoFab. That means not watching pornography and not releasing energy, anything like that. And so that's, I'm sorry, not 7, did I say 600? 800. 860, 808, is it 884? Oh man, I lost track. But I think it's either 884, 874. I gotta go back and look. But anyway, I lost track of my times there. But it is close to, I think I did 800 at some point, 850. So I think it's over 850, getting close to 9. I'll have to take a look at it. But Monk Mode, I believe, is 74. Maybe it's 870. Maybe it's 875 or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, the difference between the two, going back to the original question, that's here. I was going off track a little bit here. The difference between the two is that the Monk Mode is that you're not even thinking about women. You're not thinking about women. All you're focusing is on your goals and doing the things you have to do. Now, the difference when you look at this is that you're trying to get out of your mind. Now, I had to go to Monk Mode because it is tempting to go back, because I had all these years of really thinking about this and looking at pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I had to go back and just say, what's the most extreme situation for me? Now, not everybody has to do Monk Mode. I recommend it. I know a lot of our other viewers recommend it, but I don't necessarily recommend it if you're a young person and you're able to control that enough. You may not need to go Monk Mode right away, or you may not need to go to it every time. But I do it because I needed to really kind of cleanse myself, and I'm still doing that. I still have periods of time where I struggle, and obviously because I'm only at 80 some days, that means that I lost it and started thinking about it, and so that's why I'm starting again. But we all kind of fall back and we all relapse at times. Now I'm relapsing in monk mode. I haven't relapsed in NoFab, but I'm going to continue doing it. And I think a lot of our viewers also mentioned this, that as you do this more, you're going to get more of a, it's a harder habit to break. I mean, a retention one, it's harder to break the longer you go. So now that I'm into 800 and some days, and get almost 2.5 years, something like that, it's becoming a little bit easier to stop. It's not impossible, because your thought pattern is still going to be what was in the old days, and it's hard to break that unless you create a whole new habit and replace a new habit from the old habit. So that's why I say that it's not that easy to do this, and monk mode is just completely wiping out. In our society, it's very difficult. I've had to stop watching TV, except for sporting events. And even that, I have to kind of just, kind of be careful with pictures and things that I see, because anytime you see something on the screen, whether it's a computer, anytime you look up a website, there's always a chance of them flashing things in front of you that's going to get you thinking about it, because sex sells, and this is what people want to do. They want to sell. And so they're selling products, they're selling these things. You get these things in the mail. I got something, my wife got some Victoria's Secret. This kind of stuff is always around you. So you have to kind of build up a wall of defense. That's why I always talk about the shield and the helmet, of the warrior. That's why I kind of call it a warrior, because you're basically going ahead and really kind of focusing on being a warrior. And I think it's key to look at that and say, we are a warrior, you're a gladiator. And the thing is, you have to protect yourself against all these things that are going to be tempting to you to kind of break your mode. And when you do that, you're basically saying, okay, I am living for God now. I'm not living for all these temptations. I'm living for the Lord. And I'm trying the best that I can to not allow all these things to interfere with things that I'm doing. So you're focusing on work, you're focusing on goal, you're focusing on getting in shape, you're focusing on having the best diet possible, all these type of things you're focusing on, and you're trying to stay away from those other things. And that's why we talk about it being NoFab. NoFab is the first key to me. So I think NoFab is a starter for many people. Now, as you do it more, and obviously as I got into 2 years of this, now you start transferring those behaviors into something else, and that's when I was able to start the monk mode, because I knew I was strong enough to go ahead and say, okay, NoFab's not killing me anymore. Now I'm going to focus on something else. This society, my friends, that we're in is a battle, because they don't give a care about God. They don't care. And I'm talking about society, I'm just talking about as a whole, just the evil forces that are in the society that Satan's using. They're interested for profit. They're interested in trying to, and not so much, I don't know if they're so much interested in destroying mankind. I think that there are factions that want to do that, and you could look at those type of theories with people who might be destroying the male population. They're out there, of course there are, but I think a lot of people, the normal type of people in the middle, they're not so interested in destroying people. They just want to make a profit. They want to make money. They want to do this, so they don't think twice about how it's affecting kids. I remember these studies way back in the 50s when the kids, and violence with TV. And, it was really apparent that kids get affected by TV and violence. And so if kids are getting affected by violence on TV, well, of course they're going to be affected by, sexual things and those type of things. You never saw that when TV came out. But like anything else, as time goes on, it gets debased because people use it corruption, use it for power, and they use it for their own purposes. And so they're pulling extremes. It's always funny to me to see that as societies come together and they form, God is a big part of their life, because God has been blessed them to have this community. But then as time goes on, they forget about God. And the question is, can we save our society right now? And I think that there is a revolution that's happening for people to come back and to bring God back into their lives, Hopefully it's not going to be too late for a lot of people. But the other thing is that part of that thing is really going back to basics and your normal temple, which is your body. And God has given you that temple to be able to, use it wisely, use your energy wisely, and to become that masculine male that you need to be. And this is why I say that it's very important to be able to be strong and be masculine, and we need that in the world. No matter what the world is saying to you, this is why I don't follow the world anymore. Very literally, I may watch a football game here and there, but very rarely do I really spend time. I don't watch TV, and I don't miss it. It's interesting. I don't really miss it. I used to watch TV a lot when I was younger. That was part of the problem. It's very easy to get depressed watching all that negative news all the time. But that's also on a reason. That's a reason for that. Because they want to sell. They want to get people in. They realize people have a penchant for negative drama and things like that. And so they want people to listen. But the thing is that as you focus on your retention, getting your power back, superhuman powers, you're not affected by that kind of stuff at all. You're not really paying attention to a lot of that stuff. And that's why you can continue to being that strong person that you are and being able to focus on the positive things and getting your life to be the most excellent life it can be. So when we talk about this, Nizar is a good question. When we talk about this, the big difference between the two is NoFab basically is just saying, okay, I'm not going to watch pornography and I'm not going to release. I added edging in there and all the other kind of stuff I've talked about over the last year or so, because in my mind, all that is a thought pattern. I had to get rid of the thought pattern because the thought pattern was still there when I first started this NoFab streak. And so I had to go to extreme cases because I knew that eventually if it was there, I would go ahead and fall victim to the temptation. And so, therefore, I decided to go ahead and just do monk mode. And like I said, it's been successful, most of the time. We've had, obviously, relapse. But the thing is that, like we've had several viewers said, this is a lifestyle change. You're really trying to change your lifestyle. You're trying to do better. And of course you're going to relapse. There's times that we're going to do that before we pass away. Maybe several times still. But the difference is that you know what is right and wrong, and you're going to continue to follow that lifestyle. And I think that's a key to the whole situation, because now you're looking out for temptation. You're not going to be fooled by the advertisements. You're not going to be fooled by the pictures. You're not going to get fooled by the women. As we talked about these four, women still at 61, they're throwing themselves at me. But the funny thing is, ironically, if this was happening when I was 20, oh man, I'd be living the party life, right? But the fact that I'm 61 and I've been married for 30 some years, I'm not interested. So as one of our viewers says, nah, get out, go. See, the thing is that you're looking at life in a different way. And I think this is the way the Bible and the Lord wanted us to look at life. Having sex is important in certain ways, but other ways it's not. You want to procreate and have children, great. But it's not the be-all, end-all. You're not going to be, happy for the rest of your life with having sex. This is something that I learned the hard way. But now, on the other hand, if you have peace with the Lord and you have God within you, then you're much happier. I've been so happy and so at peace for a long time now, and especially during the streak, because I know I'm getting closer to God. It's still a battle. It's still going to be a battle because I had so many years of, so many years of the problem. That takes time for me to overcome that. And so I realize that, but I realize that it's something that's worthwhile because I do want to be as close as God as I can. And sometimes I forget, sometimes I lose track. Not definitely on purpose, but the one thing I will not do, and I've had this temptation at times, is to harden your heart, which is what they talk about in the Bible, and Pharaoh did that with Moses and everything else. The idea is that you do not want to forget about God. And so every morning I read the Bible, I pray, I try to read the Bible on Sunday, I try to go to church, one form or another if I can, and I try to focus on the things that need to be focused on to stay within the Lord. And to me, that's the whole key to it. So as I focus on this more, to me, the temptation, all these other things should pass away. And if they don't, then I continue to work on it. But the difference with the monk mode to me is that I'm really kind of focusing on God more than I would be with NoFab. NoFab, I think, is a good starter for people. I think certainly, if you're struggling with this issue right now, it is important to focus on having strength when it comes to NoFab. You want to make sure that you're continuing with your streak of not saying, okay, I'm not going to be affected by this. I'm not going to look at this. I am not going to be enticed by this. Then, at that point, you start saying to yourself, okay, if I do that, well, then what other types of things can I do to improve myself? Because what you'll get, and this is what people are asking me too, as I'm doing it longer, even at 61 and 800 days, what it does is keeps me two things. Keeps me in balance. It keeps me understanding where I'm at and what I'm trying to accomplish here. That's one thing it does. The second thing is it motivates me to continue to do better in all aspects of my life. Whether it's eating the right foods, having a little ice cream over the weekend, I had to kind of, think about that a little bit. But it gives you a chance to focus on all the things that you should be doing and refocus yourself. And this is what this does. I think it refocuses me back on the goals and things I want to do. And so anytime that I have a problem with it, I know that I'm on a certain streak and I don't want to break that streak. Now it's also a matter of my own just integrity to say, okay, I'm not going to break the streak. Unless there's some real situation that it's important to, and it hasn't been at this point, then I'm not going to break the streak. Now, there may be cases where, like, even with my wife, I might be able to say, okay, well, I may break the streak for that. But this is not the streak we're talking about. We're talking about a different type of streak. We're not talking about having, intimacy with your wife, that type of stuff. We're really talking about, because that's kind of what the Lord wanted you to have, is be married and have intimacy with your wife. But we're talking about pictures, other people, affairs, all kinds of stuff. It leads you down a very bad path when you do all this kind of stuff. I saw a situation today. What was it? One of the basketball coaches or something like that having affairs with the GM's wife and all kinds of other stuff like that. And so it's really kind of a place where, unfortunately, God is being left behind to a lot of these people, and they're focusing on other types of lascivious behaviors, deviant behaviors, because there's no restrictions. In their mind, there is no God, and so why should we be worried about trying to break it? In years past, when you had that type of thing, there's always those inner braces, I used to call them, that people had. Saying, okay, I don't want to do this because the Lord is going to punish me. I'm going to, commit sin. I'm going to go to, hell, all these type of things. And because of that, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So what happens then is that people go ahead and say this, and all of a sudden they are in trouble because they are doing things that they know are wrong down deep. And I think we all have a conscience. The problem with the conscience is I think it become hardened. This is what they talk about, harden the soul. I think you can really become hardened that way, and this is what happens to people. So this is why your conscience, you need to listen to your conscience, and something is wrong, it's wrong. And the Bible is a good foundation for that. But this society we're in right now, people don't have God. And when you don't have God, you think you can do anything you want. You are God, in a sense. I go back to the old saying, is that you either believe in God or you're God in your mind. And I think because of that, then, a lot of people feel they're God. They don't have anybody accountable. They're not held accountable. They're not having to be responsible to. And so basically, they just do what they want to do. And this is why people have affairs. They sleep with lots of people. They're able to have one-night stands all over the place. And they do a lot of these deviant behaviors. And eventually, they lose their soul. It catches up to them. And all of a sudden, they become hardened. And now, they're just playing out the string. They have nothing to live for. They don't have that peace and joy. The joy comes from following your God. The joy comes from following the idea that you are following the rules of the game. I guess that's what I could call it. You're following the rules. And if you have no rule book, you can do anything you want to do. but you're also going to get the same behaviors, which is what the Roman Empire fell apart with, and what Babylon found out, and the same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah, and all these ones. And I talk about Sodom and Gomorrah and Babylon because those are in the Bible and the Roman Empire. I don't think the Bible went long enough to actually talk about the end of the Roman Empire, but the same thing. The same thing happened with the Roman Empire. They fell victim from within after they had so many behaviors, that were poor, and now they got taken from the outside. But it was really because of the inside. No one would have taken down the Roman Empire, if they were full strength. But because they were so decimated because of all the lascivious behaviors from Caligula to, Caesar and all these people, all of a sudden, they fell victim, and so they were down. So, okay, guys. Well, I'm at 20 minutes, so my video is pretty long here. So I hope you guys have a great day. Nizar, thank you for your comment. Who's Khan, everybody else, Jimmy Pixel, thank you, my friends, for your comments. I really appreciate those. You guys have a great day. And once again, I would suggest try either NoFab. If you can get the Monk Mode, great. But try at least something to get away from all the stuff that you're doing. And we'll continue on. So have a great day, my friends. Warriors, battle on, and God bless you guys every day.